So let's move on to some onward discussions. And we know that September 28th each year is observed as the Right to Know Day. And it's a day where we have human rights organizations as well as civil society agencies making sure that they partner the various UN bodies, particularly UNESCO, as the day since 2015 has been set aside to promote people's right to information. And we know that in Ghana, the Coalition on the Right to Information, they have been able to advocate for the passage of the RTI, that's the Right to Information Bill, into law. We nearly got that in the last parliament. We haven't been able to, but today we're here to throw more light on the subject of the RTI, or the Right to Information Bill. More importantly, we are here to speak to the chairperson of the coalition, and Seth Abloso is here. Good morning to you, Mr. Abloso.
Good morning.
It's been a while, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But we nearly passed the RTI in the last parliament.
Yeah.
Now, for you, do you think it was just a near miss, or something that after those long years of hard work could have just been finalized in a good climax?
Thank you very much. A near miss, but it could have been passed. I think that it's unfortunate that it didn't get passed, because everything had been done to ensure its passage. Perhaps also the late placement on the calendar of Parliament. You know, it was in the dying days of the last Parliament that this happened. But even though they didn't pass it, they had time to pass that of their emoluments. Yes. And it's regrettable, because with all the time and energy and monetary expense that had gone into it, one can safely say that the last Parliament caused financial loss to the state. And that's most regrettable.
At the end of the day, we know that this day is there, and it's to have universal access to information, and so it's marked each year. It has been marked since 2015. Do you think that even in the absence of the RTI, we're doing better than usual?
Oh, no, we are not doing good. We are not doing good. Even though there's that right is enshrined in the Constitution, we need a law to bring it into effect. Otherwise, if you hit roadblocks in accessing information, what you need to do then is to go to court to seek to have the agency from which you are seeking information compelled to let you have it. And I don't think that we in the coalition do not think that it's best for Ghana. And
through your efforts, of course, and through some advocates, many of us who really practice media seriously have known about the content of the bill, and even to the final stage of the bill that was before the last Parliament. The state in which it was before the last Parliament, what were some of the difficulties as a coalition you had with its wordings and the content?
It was with we in fact dealt with all should I say bottlenecks that came up. So it was a fine document ready for passage. There were timelines for accessing information, which we had dealt with. There were knotty areas about what information should be privileged, and we dealt with that as well. So essentially, it was ready for passage, really, and it's worrying why in the 8th month, now in the 9th month of this new year, Parliament has not been able to pass it. In fact, in January this year, Vice President Baumia said if he had his own way, in the first 100 days of this government, the bill would have been passed, and then straight away receive presidential assent. In May, when we had the World Press Freedom Day, the Minister for Information said the bill was on the calendar of Parliament. That is calendar from May to July, and that passage was non-negotiable. And we're surprised to find that in the calendar that appeared when Parliament sat, the Right to Information Bill was conspicuously missing. So then you ask yourself, what do we do with assurances from officialdom? The Vice President says in 100 days, Information Minister says it's going to be on the calendar of Parliament when it sits in May, and he was saying this on the 3rd of May. Parliament resumes, and it's completely absent. Not that it featured and did not get attention. It was completely absent. So that's pretty worrying. That's pretty worrying.
So the current state in which the bill is, and I've read some content of the bill, particularly on the subject of how you get access to information and then also applying for it. Do you think perhaps we could have some tweaks to it, even though it had been finalized in the last Parliament within the present circumstances in which we find ourselves?
No, we won't ask for any.
You wouldn't do that.
No,
kind
we
of
won't ask for
advocacy.
any further adjustment.
What are those in the corridors of power been saying about it?
Well, because it didn't get passed in the last Parliament, what it meant was that it needs to be redone. A fresh bill will need to be placed before Parliament. The Attorney General's Department had brought up a draft bill which they passed on to Shraj to help fine-tune. The coalition and other agencies met with Shraj and did some work on it. So we did some work on it, and we're expecting that it will have been in Parliament in May. So it's disturbing. There certainly must be some feet dragging somewhere. And as to what the problem is, I think it's important that the appropriate ministry, for Justice and Attorney General, tells us what the problem is, what the problem for this government is. Because you see, in President Kufuor's tenure, in the MPP manifesto, there's a brilliant case for passage of the Right to Information Bill. Brilliant. It didn't get passed, and then we missed it in the last Parliament. Now, in the manifesto that brought NPP to power, they only said that if it's not passed, they will have it passed. So how long should it take before they get it passed? They said if it doesn't get passed, they will have it passed.
So we have a whole term for the Parliament. So.
Yeah, we have a whole term for the Parliament. But when you juxtapose this with, for instance, references to, and information is critical in many ways, including fighting corruption. But when a president makes corruption or fight against corruption high on his agenda, and makes the introduction of a special prosecutor a key issue, we wonder how you can prioritize the office of special prosecutor and place a Right to Information Bill on the back burner. Not so much. It should precede the special prosecutor. It should clearly precede because we've done a lot of work on it. And the special prosecutor needs information.
And you have a forum, and I know that, well, with this forum, you're going to emphasize, place that emphasis on the bill. More so, have various experts as well as right groups and individuals also place a lot more emphasis on the need to pass the bill.
Yes.
Tell us a lot more about this very meeting.
Well, we're holding it on the theme access to information in Ghana a myth or a reality. And we're hoping that at the end of the forum, on the basis of what contributions agencies and other persons present, the forum will decide whether it's a reality or a myth. Yes. Okay.
Yes. And we hope that we can get good outcomes from this. Do we have any government officials attending?
We're expecting that the Minister for Information will be principally among us. If the Attorney General and Minister for Justice or her representative comes also, they'll be very welcome, because they in fact need to let the people of Ghana know what their challenges are, what challenges are holding back the passage of the bill. And for instance, for the Minister for Information, he has a major responsibility to let us know why, when he said it's not non-negotiable, and it's on their card, on the agenda for Parliament, why it was so conspicuously missing. Did somebody order a deletion? What happened? It's important that we know, and the right to know is the best opportunity for officialdom to let us know why this is so. Yeah.
Well, I have to say we have to call it a morning this morning for the discussions, and we wish you all the best in that forum and your endeavor to make sure that the right RTI is passed. Indeed, it's good for all of us, or as people who work with the media, who seek information, and we use that information to work thoroughly.
Beyond that, it's also good for government.
Yeah, true.
Because information, when it's available, it drives confidence in government and governance generally. People are not kept in the dark. So,
all right, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We've been speaking to the chairperson on the Coalition on the Right to Information Bill, and Seth Abloso has been with us. And
on the right to information.
Yes, the right to information. And thanks for joining me, Ms. Abloso.